robotic roles. Through time, historical and contemporary examples illustrate how artificial life has been conceived of as both serving and threatening man. The current concerns about AI taking over echo centuries-old fears that increasing mechanization, automation jeopardizes lives and livelihoods, also that traditional master-slave relationships will be subverted. Indeed, Aristotle speculated on this precise dynamic in his 4th century BCE treatise on politics. And every assistant is, as it were, a tool that serves for several tools. For if every tool could perform its own work when ordered, or by seeing what to do in advance, like the statues of Daedalus in the story, or the tripods of Hephaestus, which the poet says, enter self-moved the company divine, if thus shuttles wove and quills played harps of themselves, master craftsmen would have no need of assistants, and masters no need of slaves. Anthropomorphic machines are therefore the ultimate underclass, property that we don't even need to dehumanize in order to comfortably exploit them. Curiously, we can't dismiss them as savages, just as previous generations of humans explained away their mistreatment of colonized peoples. While not always sentient, the robots of our imagination and our reality are often characterized as highly sophisticated. But we can at least reassure ourselves that they do not have feelings to hurt, and that they do not have rights, at least not yet. There's an inevitable tension here with the role of robots as companions to humans. In fiction, made sidekicks such as the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz and Marvin the Paranoid Android in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy are enlivened, but still very much subordinate to their human counterparts. In the latter, the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation's definition of a robot as your plastic pal who's fun to be with is challenged not only by Marvin's depressive personality, but by the guide itself in its definition of the marketing division of the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation as a bunch of mindless jerks who'll be the first against the wall when the revolution comes. In the real world, robot pets may attract our affection and engagement, but can ultimately be switched off. This is not to deny the ability of humans to develop emotional attachments to machines, sometimes known as the Tamagotchi effect, after the virtual pets first popularized in the 1990s. Like Pygmalion in the Greco-Roman myth as told by Ovid, Metamorphoses, men, for the most part, are able to carve out an image of their ideal woman, which is then brought to life. Pygmalion saw these women waste their lives in wretched shame, and critical of faults which nature had so deeply planted through their female hearts. He lived in preference, for many years unmarried. But while he was single, with consummate skill, he carved a statue out of snow-white ivory and gave to it exquisite beauty, which no woman of the world has ever equalled. She was so beautiful, he fell in love with his creation. It appeared in truth a perfect virgin with the grace of life, but in the expression of such modesty, all motion was restrained, and so his art concealed his art. Pygmalion gazed, inflamed with love and admiration for the form, in semblance of a woman he had carved. Pygmalion's animated statue is the perfect woman because she is unlike real women. Ideal women in virtual worlds and as sex companion robots are often similarly fashioned with extreme made-to-order features that are reminiscent of those prized in mainstream pornographic performance. AI-enabled apps marketed as virtual boyfriends and virtual girlfriends are similarly customizable. This does not of itself preclude emotional engagement. In a different context, use of AI to recreate an interactive semblance of a deceased loved one is central to so-called grief tech apps. The jury is still out on whether these help or hinder the grieving process.